Welcome to the haunting of Hill House, where the walls practically hum with secrets, and every creaky floorboard feels like it has its own story. Now, Hill House may look like just another old mansion tucked away in the middle of nowhere. But let's be honest, no sane person would willingly step into this place once they knew its story. Hill House has a reputation, a dark, twisted one, with roots in things we'd rather not imagine. But, for our cast of characters, this creepy mansion becomes a summer getaway of sorts. If by getaway, you mean diving headfirst into your worst nightmares. Let's meet our guests. The brave or maybe foolish souls, who've signed up for what they think will be a summer job, but will turn out to be a terrifying experience. First, there's Dr. John Montague, a paranormal researcher and academic type. He's convinced that Hill House is haunted, and he's determined to gather evidence to prove it. So what does he do? He rents out the place for the summer, and invites people who've had paranormal experiences to join him. Not sure why he didn't just grab a flashlight and some ghost stories, but hey, Dr. Montague is all about scientific research. Among his invitees, we have Eleanor Vance. Eleanor is shy, a little fragile, and let's be real, she's already got a few ghostly cobwebs in her head. She's spent years caring for her sick mother, and this invitation to Hill House feels like her first shot at freedom. So she drives up, even stealing her family's car to get there. Talk about a girl determined to make her own nightmares come true. Next up, there's Theodora, who's the polar opposite of Eleanor. She's bold, artsy, and confident. The type of person who probably packs lipstick in her ghost hunting kit. She and Eleanor hit it off right away. Kind of like two college roommates, meeting for the first time in a dorm they didn't realize was haunted. Finally, there's Luke Sanderson, the future heir of Hill House. Luke's got a reputation as a smooth talker, maybe even a bit of a con artist. He's got charm, sure, but also a past that makes you wonder if Hill House chose him, rather than the other way around. So, the scene is set. Our squad rolls up to Hill House, this hulking, gothic monster with its towering turrets, ominous windows, and walls that seem to breathe. The caretaker, Mrs. Dudley, greets them with about as much warmth as a frozen fish stick. She has her rules, and she makes them very clear. No one will come to help them at night. She's out of there before dark, and if something screams in the night, it's not her problem. Mrs. Dudley is clearly no stranger to Hill House's secrets, but she's not spilling any tea. When they step inside, Hill House feels like a maze designed by someone who hates joy. The rooms are skewed, the walls are somehow off-center, and everything seems just slightly wrong, like a funhouse mirror but in real life. Doors shut by themselves, and even the air feels thick, as if it's been marinating in decades of misery. Yet, they settle in, each person taking a different room, and trying to ignore the growing feeling that they're not alone. From day one, strange things start happening. Eleanor and Theodora's rooms feel unnaturally cold, like a freezer in the middle of July. They start hearing things too. Faint, ghostly laughter echoing down the halls. Eleanor brushes it off, convincing herself it's just her imagination. But then, one night, they all hear it. Loud, bone-chilling, knocking on the walls, something that sounds like a warning. They huddle together, wide-eyed, hoping it'll stop. Dr. Montague tries to act calm, like this is all scientific data, but deep down, he's probably considering early retirement. Then, there are the dreams. Eleanor begins to feel like the house is calling her, like it's whispering her name, when no one else is around. She's drawn to the place, wandering around at night, as if in a trance. The others find her in strange places, and she can't remember how she got there. Hill House has somehow wormed its way into her mind, playing tricks on her that seem a little too personal. One night, Eleanor and Theodora hear a low, eerie voice murmuring outside their bedroom. It sounds as though it's coming from everywhere and nowhere, filling the space between the walls. It's a child's voice, soft, but filled with something deeply wrong. They hold hands, trying not to breathe too loudly, each convinced they're moments away from seeing some spectral child materialize through the wallpaper. But when they open the door, nothing. Just cold, stale air, and a hallway that stretches on forever. Eleanor's connection to Hill House intensifies. She feels as if the house is watching her, singling her out. She's losing herself, little by little, like her own sense of reality is slipping away. She starts saying things like, "Hill House is my home. I belong here." The others. They're like, Nope, we're here for research, not residency. Then comes the big shocker. Eleanor has a full-blown conversation with what she believes is her mother's ghost. She's convinced her mother's spirit is in Hill House, and she begins hearing her mother's voice, demanding and accusatory, just like in life. But this is no sweet mother-daughter reunion. It's eerie, unsettling, and pushes Eleanor even closer to the edge. By now, everyone else is pretty much done with Hill House. They want to pack up, head home, and forget about the paranormal horror show they signed up for. But Eleanor refuses to leave. It's like she's become part of the house. Hill House has claimed her, in a way that's both terrifying and tragic. Dr. Montague, seeing Eleanor's deteriorating state, decides it's time to get her out of there for her own good. But Eleanor won't go quietly. She jumps into her car, speeds off down the long winding road, but it's like Hill House has one last grip on her. She loses control of the car, crashes, and dies on the spot. It's a haunting end to a haunted story, as if Hill House made sure she'd never really leave. As they drive away from the mansion, they realize Hill House will continue to stand, as it always has, waiting for its next guest, ready to whisper its secrets into another visitor's mind. And for Eleanor, she remains a part of Hill House, her story just another shadow in its dark, twisting halls. And that's the story of the haunting of Hill House. A place that doesn't just haunt you. It consumes you, it pulls you in, and it makes sure you never really leave.